Hey, welcome back to From Scratch Ranch. Today's project is ripping down all of these boards off this fence and replacing them with these natural ones. I had the black 4-board fence up here in our entrance area. Check out that video link above if you haven't seen that yet. But we changed our mind on the color of this fence because once we got all the horse fencing done over there with the black posts and the natural rails, we really love that two-tone look. So we're gonna go with that instead of just all 4 boards being black. So, and now I need to trim out the horse shelter way over there with the black. So I figured, man, why do I need to paint any more black boards? I'll just use these out here, pull them off, use those as the trim on the shelter, and just replace these out front. So. All right, I got these 3 windows inside the shelter here. I need to close those off for the winter. So I'm gonna use the leftover siding that I cut out of there and some 2x4s using a lap joint to connect all the 2x4s together to give it a nice solid frame for that window. So I've got 3 of these to build, so let's get to it. All right, I need to cut 4 equal lengths at 29 3/4. It's gonna make my frame for my windows. So I can get 3 out of one 8-foot 2x4. And I'll get the 4th out of a scrap that I've got. So for my lap joint, I need to measure the thickness of the 2x4. And I'm just marking the top and the 2 sides. I'll flip it over. Do the bottom side. So here on this side here, I want to make sure I get the opposite side upside down. So now that I got that measured out, I can just take each 2x4 now, line them up. And just transcribe it over to the other one. Just basically flip it over to the other side, making sure it's the bottom side this time. Now I'm not building furniture here. This is a barn window, stall window. So it don't have to be perfect. These are just 2x4s. Nothing fancy. Okay. So next I'm gonna cut just one cut at the line on both sides. I'm gonna come back and take out half the wood. And I've raised the blade to half of the 2x4 thickness. So it should be perfect for a lap joint cut. Flip it over. Okay, so now I've got this section is what I want to cut out then. All this and all of that. And I'm just going to pass it over the blade until it's all gone. Okay, so we have our two pieces of siding that were cut out of the window space. Flip those upside down. I've got them numbered 5 and 6. These are all the last two windows here. So I'll get that squared up. And then I'll place my lap joint braces. Let's see. So they're all the same. Just a matter of how you configure them. Okay, that's good. Make sure everything's all squared up. Add a little wood glue on all the joints. This is probably the most important part right here, is making sure that everything is squared so this window sits in the opening right and swings correctly without being twisted in any way. So now I'm going to just drill a couple holes. Okay, now I want to flip this whole thing over because this isn't attached to the plywood yet, to the siding. So I'm going to flip this whole thing over. And then screw the siding in from this side, making sure everything's lined up just right and square. This is going to be my hinge side over here. Okay. I get the four corners first, because as you can see, it kind of shifted on me a little bit. Okay, now before I trim this out, I'm just gonna go take this out to the shelter and just make sure it fits in that window opening before I do any more work on it. Cookie, I want to surprise you. I'm gonna put a window in for you. There it is. Okay, so that should swing just fine. So I got plenty of room on both sides. Everything lines up good. All right, let's go trim it out. So the first piece I want to cut is my first diagonal, a solid piece. So I'm just going to measure corner to corner here. 32 1/4. 32 1/4. Now, this is just to cut my length first. Now I need to cut 45s on this, but I need to find center. So 3 1/2. So I need 1 3/4. That's my center point there. And my center point on this side. And I'm actually going to draw the lines. I'm going to move my saw to the 45, but I'm actually going to draw the lines. For one, I want to just double check to make sure that that is center by drawing these two lines like that and then coming across to see if they connect at the proper point. And I was a little off on that. Perfect fit. Now on this side, just measure from my side there, so 14 5/8. 14 5/8. No, that's good. See, nice and tight. Like that. Okay, now that side. One way to find out where the center is, it's already cut at an angle here at the 45 that I need. It was for a different piece that I was doing. So in order to find the center without actually using the tape measure to measure center, I could just use my square and go from corner to corner. Mark my side on here, on that side. So then flip it over and then bring my square up to that line right there. Draw my line. So now it's a perfect triangle there. And that's how I found my center. And I'll go cut that. And then we'll cut the length after. Perfect. Okay, now we just nail it in. Okay, now just flip it over and get the other side. Do the same thing, except here now I've got to get my outside edges. So for on this one, I'm going to go all the way across on the top and the bottom, and then I'll fill in on the sides. So my hinge is going to come across here. That's why I'm going to do a full piece on the top, full piece on the bottom, and then fill in on the side. So 29 7/8. Since they're exactly the same, I'm just going to use this one as a template. Close enough. So line that up. 23. Do the same thing like we did on the inside of this door. Measure the full diagonal. There we go. Okay, there we have it. We have our window. Now I'll paint the edges of this black once I get it all hung. It's just easier to do once it's up. And then it'll look nice. So next I just need to put the hinges on and get that ready to hang. For the hardware for the window, I bought this Everbuilt kit. It's just a gate T hinge and latch set. It's got the oversized hinges and then the latch here. I also did pick up a handle and a hook and eye, a nice fancy hook and eye, so I can hold the window open with this. So here what I'm doing, I'm just making sure that the hinge is lined up with the other hinge here. from edge to edge, 37 1/4. So it should be both top and bottom 37 1/4. Now it decides to get windy. I want to place this piece of cardboard in there to give me a little bit of a spacer when I set the window in. That gives me just a little bit of clearance underneath once I screw this on for it to swing properly. I'm going to lift this corner up on the right hand side and check for plumb. Good, so my hinges are perfectly plumb. And I'm using these big 3-inch screws just for the center, just so it's got a little stronger anchor there. And then I'll use the black decorative screws on the outsides. Let's see if this swings. Oh, nice. And that fits in there just right. Once I get my latch on there, it'll stay. Now I've got this hook and eye, so the eye will in the corner of the door there, and the hook on the wall, so then we can hook the window back. Hook it in there, and then measure. So now, there. Okay, so now I just need to go get the paint and paint up this, clean it up. All right, so now that I got the windows all trimmed out, it's time to just kind of frame out this entire shelter with the black trim that I just pulled off the front entrance fence.